Hello everyone and welcome to Cogs of Community, Rotary Halifax Harbour. My name is Thomas and today I am thrilled to be joined by our District Governor, Don Sword, a two-time District Governor and a lifelong Rotarian who has transformed his community along with his home Rotary Club of Avalon Northeast in Newfoundland and Labrador with incredible projects like the Topsail Beach Rotary Park, which we're going to hear more about in just a few minutes. We'll dive into Don's Rotary journey, his leadership insights, and how Rotary continues to create magic in communities around the world. Let's get started. Welcome, Don.
Thank you.
Don, why don't we begin with that project we were talking about, the Topsail Beach Rotary Park. Can you tell us a bit about this project, how it came to life, and its impact to the community?
There was this it was a park, provincial park, but it had never been developed. But it was a very popular meeting place in the community called Topsail Beach. And conveniently, it's right on the border between the two towns of Conception Bay South and Paradise. It was a big thing, took a lot of time, and it was a $750,000 project, raising money and getting government money and all the rest of it. But we built that park. And it took us a while to actually get that. It was about 10 years in before we actually had completed the Topsail Beach Rotary Park, because we ran through all kinds of hurdles and whatnot. When we finally got there was a couple of things that came into place and then handed it over to the town, because that was the other thing we figured is that, okay, we can build something, but we were not set up as a Rotary Club to manage something like that. I know other clubs throughout our district have been involved in major initiatives with parks and camps and things like this, and they've continued to be hands-on running them. And we made an early decision is that unless we have an exit strategy for something big like that, it could become an anchor for the club, and then the club could never move on to something else. So that was a really good lesson for our club. Other clubs have made other decisions, but we achieved what we wanted to, which was, our name and a big logo on something which everyone in the community goes to.
That's great, Don. And appreciating this was a big project for your club, but maybe we can swing back to you talking about your journey and how you got involved with Rotary.
So back in 1989, when Rotary in the area was looking at expanding, so the communities that this club that I'm part of serves are the communities of Conception Bay South, the town of Conception Bay South, and the town of Paradise, which are bedroom communities in the St. John's metropolitan area. And there was no Rotary out this way. So one of the local clubs called St. John's Northwest were our sponsoring club, and they worked with the local community, found 35 individuals who were interested in joining Rotary, and we provisioned for a number of months. And at the time, I had moved to Newfoundland from growing up in Nova Scotia in 1980, and so I was new to moving to the community in Conception Bay South, and so I was looking for friends. I was looking for getting involved in the community. I'd been exploring Rotary because I thought it was, it had a reputation of something that I wanted to be part of, and I thought it would be good. Personally, I thought it would also be good for business. But once you're in, you realize that there's a lot more to it, and the service aspect turns you on. Well, they talk about Rotary as fellowship is the basis upon which doing service, and the thing is that your experience within the club is that yes, it's fellowship, and fellowship maybe is a synonym for friendship, perhaps. But this is my family. The people in my Rotary Club, they're extended family members, and having been part of this Rotary Club for, in March it'll be 36 years. And many of the people in the club, but I've grown up with them. I've known their wives and children or husbands. And, you grow up together, and you've gone through a lot of stuff together, and so and you've had a lot of shared experiences of working with people that you like to do something beyond yourself, right? Service above self is and that's what immediately turned me on.
It's incredible how your journey with Rotary started as a young professional looking for connections and now is like an extended family. That sense of community is so powerful. But maybe Can you talk more about what the district is and what your role is as district governor?
Our district is 7815. That is Atlantic Canada, the four Atlantic provinces, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, Labrador, plus Saint-Pierre-Miquelon, which is a department of France. So we're an international district because we're Canada and France. The district, which is I'm the district governor now, is, and we've summed it up in just one simple phrase. Our role is to help clubs thrive. So we're not there to boss the clubs around or tell them what to do because they're autonomous. We're there to help them. So we're heavy on education, facilitation, providing them with the links, because there are some lessons learned and there are some guidelines and there's ways to help people. One of the areas that I've been involved in quite a bit recently is our Rotary Foundation, which is our charity. And so explaining how that works and how they can navigate some of the processes and procedures about that.
So you're also involved in the Rotary Leadership Institute for the Atlantic Division. So maybe you can tell us a bit about what that is.
It's sort of like Rotary's University or something, because whereas the district spends a lot of time doing presidents-elect training and secretary-elect training and other kinds of training and things like that, a lot of that has to do with nuts and bolts of, when you're a president, what is, how do I do this and how do I do that? Whereas the Rotary Leadership Institute doesn't bother to get involved in sort of, how the day-to-day how to do. It's more about the academics, if you will, of Rotary. So education about the history of Rotary, but it talks about ways in which clubs can operate better, techniques of leadership, techniques of helping to engage members, how to craft an effective service project. Those training are done in a facilitated fashion, so it's very interactive and whatnot.
Leadership plays such a key role in Rotary's success, and I totally agree. Why don't we shift gears and talk about something that's a bit closer to your heart, legacy and the Rotary Foundation.
So the Rotary Foundation, which has been around since 1917, I've been involved with the foundation on and off throughout my Rotary career, but I was invited to join our district's Rotary Foundation committee in November of 2023, and they said, we're looking for someone to do something on the endowments and major gifts. So I said, I know what a major gift is. That's a lot of money, but I'm not really sure what the endowment is. And part of the reason was they changed the name. It used to be called the Permanent Fund, but essentially the difference between the endowment fund and the other kinds of monies is that Polio Plus or annual fund, you put the money in, it's basically spent right away, and all of the money that you donate gets spent, a very small amount which goes to administration. But the endowment fund is different. The endowment fund is where the capital that you put in, the dollar that you put in today never gets spent. That dollar gets put into investment, is investment, managed, and so on and so forth. And only the earnings or the interest or gains on that capital, that's what gets spent. You put in $250, $10 a year or so gets kicked off every year forever. In perpetuity, infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say, for that money will go, and so what that does is that allows for a constant stream of money being available, and you can designate it when you do the endowment fund where you want it to go. So you have an array of possibilities of how that money can be spent. You donate cash, or you can donate a security, or other ways that you just give to a charity right now. But the other possibility is that when people are doing their estate plan, their wills, or they want a beneficiary designation on certain types of investment funds or RSPs or life insurance policies, those monies that come out from your estate, they go to the endowment fund. Those are legacies, essentially. So when you're talking about the endowment fund, you're typically talking about people who are looking to give back, and they may want to give it now, or they may want to give it later. So you have the conversation with somebody, what do they care about, and what is their passion? And many times, if they're a Rotarian, their passion and what they care about are things which Rotary does. And so when they're looking at what their long-term plans for their future legacy and whatnot, they may want to include the Rotary Foundation and the things that it does, and working with the people within Rotary, they can actually tailor what they want.
Legacy giving is such a beautiful way to embody Rotary's values well into the future, and it's inspiring to think how Rotarians want to do this to continue their impact for generations to come. As we're nearing the end, Dawn, maybe you can talk to us about what your vision is for the rest of this Rotary year and our district.
The theme of Rotary is the magic of Rotary. And I asked that everyone, between now and the end of this Rotary year, which is June 30th, is that consider just doing one little thing more, or doing one little thing a little better. Invite someone to join them at a Rotary meeting. Maybe invite them to join in a service project or one of the socials, or perhaps actually propose a new member to a club, or maybe get involved in a service project that they weren't involved in before. Maybe they could step up as a position within their club that they hadn't done before to help out. Or maybe they should donate to the Rotary Foundation if they haven't done. If they have already, maybe they consider being a monthly donor. That's very easy to do as well. So the point being is that if we all just do a little bit more, just one thing more, maybe collectively, that creates a big impact. A little bit for an individual is a lot when you multiply it by every member of the club or every Rotarian in the world. And that can make a tremendous difference in the world. And that is the magic of Rotary.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for joining us on the podcast and sharing this challenge about just doing a little bit more. It's a powerful reminder of the impact that we can all have if we just take a little bit more action and all the things that we already enjoy doing within Rotary. We're going to include a lot of links in our show notes for some of the things Dawn's talking about. If you want to learn more about Rotary Giving, the Rotary Foundation, the Leadership Institute, and more about Dawn and his Rotary Club, Avalon Northeast. Now, if you're listening and you're not a Rotarian and you're interested in getting involved in Rotary, either in our district or anywhere in the world, there are Rotary and Rotaract clubs near you. You just need to visit rotary.org and click on the Club Finder link to see the Rotary Club in your area. Together, we can all create a little bit of magic in our communities and be impactful people in this world. Again, thank you, Dawn, and thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks, Thomas.